Hello everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And since it's Saturday and it's 7, it means it's time for a YouTube video. And this is the 15th Saturday before Christmas. So we are at Saturday number 15. That means this is the third in our installment. And I do hope that you are enjoying seeing some Christmas projects. I know you see them through the week as well, so if you're overwhelmed with Christmas, I just apologize straight up. Hey Rosie, hi Marva, appreciate you guys coming. All right, well, as I promised you this morning, this is not a Christmas card. Hi Amy, hi Linda, hi Faith, appreciate you coming. This is a Christmas treat box. And I think it would be really cute as a place setting or, a table setting so that you could put two and whoever needed to sit where they are, or don't. Just say from Mary or from Rosie or from Faith, from whoever, and put a few little chocolates in there, maybe a candy cane, whatever. You can actually make this with the Countryside Corners dies. And you can use the first 4 and make 4 different size boxes. And I'm going to give you the measurements for those in the blog tomorrow, as well as this one. This happens to be the second to the largest, or the next to largest. So it uses, I call this die number 3. And I actually got this idea. A customer of mine sent me a video, and I checked out the owner of this, and I took the info from Robin Armbrecht, who is a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So props to you, Robin. I appreciate that. And just so that you know, hey guys, I appreciate you coming. Denise from South Dakota. Hey Jean, appreciate you. Just so you'll see the difference, I also did a second one. This is not Christmas, and this is obviously fall. And this one I modified even a little bit from the directions that you'll get tomorrow. Most of these, the directions you'll have a 1-inch wide box. This one ended up 1.5. I would love to take credit for that because that means I could tell you what I did. But actually, I think all I did is I made the card base too big, but it actually made it wider. So this tells you that if you need a little bit wider box, you can do it just by adding some length to your cardstock. Okay, but this one is pick of the patch, and obviously it's like, for the fall. All right, let's go ahead and get going. Like I said, this will all be on the blog tomorrow. In addition to Countryside Corners, I've used the Joy of Noel and its matching dies, and a little bit of Christmas Classics. Really, all I used from Christmas Classics was the holly and the sprigs, but I also pulled out a couple of standalones, the Radiating Stitches dies. I used this little circle die here to make like a button, and then I used this this smallest die to make my little tag. Okay, and that's tailor-made tags. So Radiating Stitches and tailor-made tags also played a part. All right, hey Rocky, hi Mary, appreciate you coming. No, Lynn, I don't. It's been a while since I've made a treat box, and I want to say I'm not sure I've ever done one on a video, so yay. All right, so the cards, the DSP that I'm using is the Joy of Christmas, and this is all in pebbled path. So my treat box itself is going to be pebbled path. Now, I'm going to pull this out. I made some templates. This is box number 2. You can tell it's box number 2 because it uses the number 2 size die in Countryside Corners. So it's 5 inches by 6 inches. And we're going to start by doing some scoring. This is pretty straightforward stuff right here. So you're going to put your short end up at the top of your score tool, and you are going to score 1 inch from both ends. Now, I have a little trouble doing when it's up against the corner like this, so it's easier for me to just flip it so that I can go 1 inch from the far end. It just makes it a little more likely that I'm going to get a good score. If you're a lot more coordinated than I am, just leave it in place, okay? Then you're going to turn it 90 degrees so that your long end is on the top, and you're going to come in 2.5 inches and 3.5 inches. And there you go. That's kind of it. All right. Now, what I did is I know I'm gonna go ahead and fold all of these and just give them a burnish with my fingers. Okay. So I'm folding all of the score lines in, like so. And then what I did is I turned it so that the outside was up, and I took my tear and tape adhesive. Oh, well, good, Lynn. I'm glad. I will try to do some more. When you use tear and tape, it'll really help you a lot to control it. If you stick your hand through and nudge it up against, between your thumb and your forefinger, and then you can kind of direct where this is going. So what I did is I put tear and tape adhesive on the short piece, the 1-inch piece, and then on one side of the longer side. All right, and then I turned it over, and we'll do the same. All right, just like that. And then we're done with the tear and tape for just a second. Now, hi Marlene, I appreciate you joining. What you're gonna do, now look, you can use liquid glue if you want, but when you're doing treat boxes and things that have to hold up a little bit, I do recommend the tear and tape. I think it works really well. If you want to use liquid glue, you certainly can. It's just going to mean you have to kind of hold it for a minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this little 1-inch square piece right here into a flap. And the way I'm going to do that is just cut right along the score to the first score line, to that inch score line. And do it on both sides. And you don't need to do anything fancy like make it, like that. It's just not going to show that much. I mean, if you want to, you probably could, but you really don't need to. Okay, and then we'll just do the same on the other side. Like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the cover on the tear and tape on one of the sides. And what we're going to do is we're going to push that flap in. Like that, and then bring this other side that has the tear and tape up and make your corner. Okay, take the time so that your edges are even. Okay, and then you can fold the other side up and make your edges even. All right, like that, and then we'll just do the same on the other side. Yeah, tear and tape can kind of make you frustrated. So if you do that, I think you will find it much easier to use. Okay, so then we're going to push our flap on the inside. Bring the other flap that has tear and tape on it. Remember, they don't both, but just this one has tear and tape. Bring it in and go ahead and line up the bottom edges like that. Okay, and then you can fold the other side down. And there you go. All right. Okay, and there's your box. I know, crazy. That was so hard. Okay, now what I did for this one, you saw on the other one, I used some of the silver twine, the silver threaded twine, and all I did was just use like the world's cheapest hole punch from Publix or wherever, and punched a hole in my DSP. Ran the twine through and tied a knot, and I've got a handle. But what I'm going to do with this one is make an actual handle. So this is just another piece of pebbled path, and it's 7/8 inches wide, and it's about that long. So that long is actually 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. So what you do is first you're going to take your bone folder and give it a little bit of a curly curl. Okay, you're not trying to make your actual curl, you're just kind of breaking those fibers up so that it will curl without being weird. Okay? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape, and I'm going to do it so this is the top. I'm going to put it on the very edge of the top side. Okay, so not the inside, the outside. Did that make sense? Here's the outside. And we're just going to put it right there. And again, right there. Like that. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and take the cover off. And I just kind of eyeball the center here. Like that. and eyeball the center here. Like that. And there's our handle. Okay. Now, before you guys came, I cut the 2 pieces of Joy of Christmas from Pebbled Path. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere this to both sides. Now, the way the measurements work is the width of the box, or the length of the box, sorry, is just about exactly the same as the long edge of this die cut. All right? So I'm just going to put some liquid glue on the card, on the box itself. And you're going to line the bottom up with the bottom of the box. So the bottom of the die cut with the bottom of the box. And you can see that the corners are right about at the corners of the box. Okay, and then you can kind of give it a little push like that. Don't go like that because it'll move until that liquid glue gets done. And then we can do the other side. Now, when you get ready to start decorating, you'll notice you can see the back of your DSP, right? So when you're picking colors for your decorations, think about the colors that your recipient is going to be able to see. Can they see lots of it? No. Does it really matter if they can see it and it's like completely wrong? No. Will it make you feel so much happier if it's right? Yes. So in this case, I checked the colors in the DSP by looking at the, the little doohickey that comes in the whatchamacallit that has all the colors. It's the white cardstock piece that comes in with the DSP, and it'll tell you the colors. And in this case, the Joy of Christmas wants shaded spruce and old olive, which are not colors that you would normally put together. But guess what? It works, and I know that because that's what Stampin' Up! Did. All right, so I did a few little die cuts. I have my Tailored Tags tag. I've got Noel that I used, the Joy of Noel. Let me close this. The Joy of Noel. Hey, Judy, appreciate you coming. You have fun with that kitchen thing. I used, it's a piece of, it is Joy of Noel. It's kind of cherry cobbler plaid. And this is a fun die because it cuts in a square. So you can really use a pretty small piece of DSP, which means you can really harvest your DSP with it. But all the letters come apart, and so you don't even have to keep them the same or snip them apart. Then I used that Radiating Stitches die circle to cut out a cherry cobbler circle. I've got a gold foil holly leaf from Christmas Classics. Then I have from Joy of Noel a shaded spruce sprig. And finally from Christmas Classics an old olive sprig. Okay, and we're just going to decorate the front. So I'm going to start with the Noel. And here's kind of how I did this. I assumed that I did a pretty good job centering this. And so I'm going to put the 2 middle letters where they go, which is kind of one on either side of the center, like that. And then I'll just bump the other 2 at about the right distance. Hey, Sherry, appreciate you coming. All right, so it's going to look just about like that. So let me go ahead and use a little liquid glue to adhere this. All righty. But once again, my Twizzlers come in so handy. And then we'll do E and just a little bit of liquid glue. You don't need a ton. You don't need a ton. Don't be distracted by that EN that went wackadoo there. Keep your eye on the prize, which is what you're gluing at the time. And then we'll put the L on. These are so easy. I did do a little wickering with the measurements, so you'll want to take a look at those. But there will be some PDFs that you can print out with the templates. So you can make all the sizes that you want to make. And finally the Enya. Enya. Oh wait, Enya is a singer person, isn't she? Isn't that like one of those new age singer people's music folks? I'm not sure. Okay, so there is Noel. Oh, don't get crazy on me, Ann. Now, come on. There we go. All right, now, here we go. Easy and also peasy. We're just going to start building our collage. Yes, I can always get a collage in, even on a treat box. And it's going to look like that. And then we're going to have our sprig, our spriggly, and then our doohickey, and our tag. So let's go ahead and make our tag. The Joy of Noel set has a darling little to from stamp, which I carefully put away. Don't know why, because I was not done with it. And I even put away the block. My goodness, that's crazy, dog. All right, and I'm going to use Cherry Cobbler. And try to get it straight. Nothing more embarrassing than getting a crooked something with a photopolymer stamp set on camera. I mean, really. Yes, ma'am, Rocky, they do. They are like a third hand. Hey, Linda. Oh, yep. You know what? The countryside, are you talking about the countryside corners, Carla? Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're not, for me, they're not a set that I would pull out every single day for every single card like I do stitch shapes, which never leaves my desk. But they are very, very handy. And in this instance, they're really, really cool. So there you go. Now, what I did to make it just a little easier on my own self is I'm going to take my liquid glue and just put a little bit right there on that radiating stitches die. And I'm going to... Well, I put him in a bad spot, didn't I? There, we'll pull it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Give it a little adhere-ish like that and let it set. Now, we'll go ahead and put these on, also with liquid glue. Quit now. Gosh. Hey, Robin, I appreciate you coming. Yeah, the Nested Essentials dies are very cool, too. Those are the ones I actually used on this one. This right here, you can't tell it, but you could have if you'd seen it before we went. This is one of the little rectangles in Nested Essentials. So yeah, they're really handy. Don't miss out on the standalone dies in the catalog, y'all. It's easy to miss them because they aren't like front and center with a bundle or anything like that, but they are very, very convenient and handy. All right, then we'll put on our holly. Our holly, our holly, holly. Okay, how many of you remember the movie Lost Horizons? Anybody besides me? It was my favorite movie ever. I cannot even begin to tell you how many times I watched that movie. And there is absolutely no reason for me to have thought of that movie right then, because the song I was kind of singing was more like Bally High from South Pacific. So I have no idea why, you know. Hey, Karen, I appreciate you coming, and I hope you'll enjoy the replay. Yes, I have no idea why I thought of Lost Horizons, but I loved that movie so much. I wanted to live there. I really did. All right, now we'll finish off by putting a little bit of liquid glue here and putting our tag on with the tag sitting at kind of a jaunty little angle. And while it dries, I'm going to make a bow. This is not a double loop linen thread bow. It's just a linen bow. There you go. I loved that movie. I really did. Okay, so all I've done is just doubled over a piece of linen thread, and then I'm just going to tie a simple bow with it. Now, truth in advertising. I probably would not start with quite so much linen thread that I have to cut off, but I tend to give myself a break when I'm doing it on camera because I really do have a hard time with bows. And so having a little extra to play with helps me out a lot. Just saying. Okay. Now, I know, Robin, it's just a natural progression from Valley High to Lost Horizon, right? I know. I know. It makes perfect sense if you just... It doesn't make any sense at all, but yeah, I gotcha. All right, and then we're just going to use some liquid glue. You could also use a glue dot if you want, but I've got the liquid glue sticking out there. But it does take a second to dry, so I'm just going to leave it alone for a minute. And I'm going to pull out my blooming pearls and put a few... Let's give that just a little bit of a turn while it's still kind of wet. There we go. Put just a few of these little guys, and by a few, I mean 5 or 6. Well, not 6. No, not 6. More like 5. Okay. And I'm going to put one up here. Oop, come back here now. Get off of there. Get off of there now. All right, there we go. And then we'll put a couple over here. And I think this is 5, but I am going to check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And there we have a little Christmas treat box. How cute would that be at the dinner table with a few little goodies in it? Maybe a candy cane, maybe a little tiny gift. I mean, this is not like the world's, like you're not going to put, if you're giving anybody dumbbells or a hockey puck for Christmas, this is probably not your buddy. Now, I will tell you that when I made this one just a little bit bigger, even with 1 inch, with a 1 inch depth, this, I believe, this would fit 3 by 3 cards, note cards and envelopes. So you could put a couple of 3 of those in here and give this as a nice little gift. Okay? All right, guys, I think that's it. By golly, by gosh. Pretty stinking easy. And you gotta love the joy of Christmas paper, right? I mean, really. You love it? I hope you do. All right, guys, y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I hope I will see you next Thursday for another YouTube Live. Thursday at 1. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya. Ta. Ooh, Reese's Pumpkins, yes.